sounds the truth, boy.
What's going on YouTube? This is your boy BDP Sounds, #1 DJ coming from that east side, and today is the second installment of DJ Tips. And I'm pretty excited. You know, last one we talked about file allocation, organization, a solid foundation for any DJ. Now this next one, we're gonna be talking about the technical side of things with DJ, and just gonna give a brief, run through of some of the more important things every DJ should know when it comes to their gear, pretty much. So I'm gonna break this thing down. We got 4 categories. First one is signal flow. The second one is outputs and inputs. The third one is equalization. And the fourth one is compression. Okay, so let's just get into signal flow. What is signal flow? Duh, it's the flow of signal. Not just playing. But really, it's more so visualizing how your music goes from your drive, through your computer, through the USB cable, to your board, and then through the speakers. Just understanding that flow, okay? Signal flow is the holy grail of every audio professional, because a professional is not a professional because they're good. Professional, in my opinion, is a professional because they can handle when things go wrong. And 9 times out of 10, when things go wrong, you have to rely on signal flow to understand what's going on. Okay? So, why signal flow is still important for a DJ is 2 reasons. Going from laptop to board, and then going from board to speakers. Those conversions, because that's what they are, they're conversions, are very, very important. So, if you're using a, controller, then from laptop to controller, it's like digital still. But then if you're using turntables like Pioneers and Techniques and all this stuff, and CDJs, especially some of the ones that's standalone equipments, it's still digital running through whatever mixer you have plugged up via USB to your computer. But those things can, stand alone and manipulate. It's helping you just manipulate it from a digital standpoint, but then the outputs is going to be an actual analog physical sound, not something that's binary zeros and ones. So you have a bunch of digital analog converters in these boards and these computers, and that's what a sound card is. So if you ever plug up your board to your computer and go to like your sound preferences and stuff, where you can find things like built-in output, built-in input, you start to see what is your computer is interfacing with. You will see the name of your board, and you will see that you could play the same music you DJing. You could play that music out of the board, or you could change that output to your laptop speakers. It could get very creative, but that's deep into it. So that leads me to the next part, which is inputs and outputs. Simple. Okay, something's going in, something's coming out. Inputs and outputs is always going to be primarily determined by your cables, and is it a receiving in or an input in. So like XLRs, they come with male and female. So most typical DJ mixers have about 3-4 points of connection terminals, pretty much. That could be, like I said, XLR, male and female. I don't have to explain why it's male and female. Makes sense. Then you have RCA, then you have 1/4 inch, and then you have 1/8 inch. 1/8 inch is like the headphone jack, you see? So most good DJ equipments have a combination of all 4 present on the mixer. So what makes inputs is inputs run directly into channels. You could input something into a channel. So a great situation that I'm pretty sure a lot of us do is when you're DJing, let's say somebody wants a request, but you do not have that song, but you have access to Apple Music. All you have to do is plug up your phone for the right price to a channel that's not in use, and then go to Apple and plug up the little adapter to the board with the cord you plug up. So it might be RCA for my example. For me, my NS6 and NS7 both can plug up to all the channels via RCA. So I have an RCA to 1/8 inch cable that I sit here and use the iPhone adapter to plug into my iPhone. And then I can play your song and get your money. Simple, easy. Okay. Now outputs, the main outputs that's always on most DJ mixers, and not the actual main output, but the most common outputs that's on all DJ mixers are headphone jack, the booth, and the main outputs. So good DJ equipment has multiple outputs and inputs. The more the merrier. You might have a situation where you forgot something, a cable or a piece of equipment, but you could get by using the headphone jack, or you could get by using this for this, or you could plug your microphone into your channel because your microphone jack broke or something. You just have to know signal flow through these inputs and outputs pretty much, and then you can manipulate them. Now, one thing I did find, you might have some higher end DJ equipment that has XLR output and an RCA output, okay, but it's still all under main output. Unless it says main output 2, it's still the same output, even though it's different connection terminals. So you might try to plug up, 2 sources of outputs in that one source of an actual output. You know what I'm saying? So it just strain the sound. It's like a series circuit. How you get that one light that's farthest away from the power source, and then you got other lights in between it. The last one farthest away from the power source is going to be the dimmest. The same thing happens with speakers when you daisy chain them too, as well. Daisy chaining is basically just plugging up one speaker to another, but you taking the sound that's coming into that one speaker and you're chaining it to another speaker. That last speaker gonna probably sound a little funny. Okay, now this leads me to equalization. Equalization is the pinnacle thing for a DJ because it helps you blend. So I don't know why, for the love of me, in my beloved city, I see DJs on the radio mixing songs together, but they're not equalizing it and things. They're just playing the songs right on top of each other. Sounds like garbage. Sounds like hot garbage. Okay? It could bust your speakers too. That we could talk about that later. But when you want to blend efficiently, you want to EQ things. Yes, EQ things, okay? EQ is separated into, typically on most mixers, 3 bands. Okay, and when I say bands, I mean a band, like a rubber band. You put a rubber band on your money because you're trying to hold it together. It's a band, and there's a band width. So you have a low band, a middle band, and a high band. And you have to check your product specifications to know how much you're adjusting the volume or attenuating the volume. You might be 12, 6 dB, you don't know. But when you move that knob, you're turning down within that bandwidth a specific set of frequencies by a set amount, and you can't change the amounts unless you get one of those 5 mixers that they might have coming out. You get change and set stuff. It's all crazy nowadays. But they also have filter knobs. So the greatest example of a filter you can find in house and EDM music. So I'll try to recreate the sound. It'd be like you hear that little building. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing but taking a filter and allowing frequencies to come through. Now, what makes a filter different from low band, mid band, high band is these bands might just sit here and just be turned down by about a couple of dBs. But a filter will completely eradicate whatever frequencies you're filtering out right now at this point. And filters typically start from either a high end or a low end, and I think you could change them on some good ones, but you could take the highs out and you could just be, you could be like boom, like you can affect it. You know what I'm saying? That's a filter wash pretty much. So filters come in handy when it's about mixing. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get to compression. Compression is important for one main reason. You don't blow nobody's stuff. It's the worst thing. You might find some old school people, and they might let you DJ somewhere, and they're like, "Now don't blow my system now." That's a thing of the past. We ain't blowing systems no more because this digital, DJing that we all are participating in with the laptop nowadays has something that's called compression already built in. Has a limiter on it. A limiter is like a complete stop form of compression, pretty much. But like in EQ, when I was mentioning the knobs, you also have the other knob, the gain. The gain comes into play when it's about compression. So when you turn the gain up, you may be thinking you're turning up volume, but in all actuality, you are turning up the amplitude. Okay, because your fader you can turn volume down, completely not hear the song, then turn it up. But your fader can't go past a certain point. The gain is what helps you go past that point. So let's say you done turned the gain up super loud in your compression. I mean, in your mix on that one channel. And you're wondering why everything sounds funny. And when I say funny, the best scenario or example of having improper compression going on and all that is like when you hear a song and it's like the lyrics are playing and then the beat come in and it's like the lyrics just suddenly get lower, super low. Another good example, you play your sound effects while the beat playing, you know what I'm saying? But then as soon as the beat stop playing, your sound effects are really loud all of a sudden. Like as soon as the bass and the lower end cut out, your sound effects super loud. I mean, that's another reason why that too, but it's all compression. I ain't gonna go into depth about it. Made another video about that, but it's all compression. So you want to have a relatively smooth amount of compression, and that's when you go into your settings. And I know for Serato, you might have 93 dB, 82. You know, like you might have those different decibels you could set in the in your settings pretty much, and it'll be like a global volume basically for every track. It's gonna try to set every track to that volume pretty much, and that really affects your the sound of your mix. It can make things sound really smashed and crunchy and distorted if you got too much compression going on. You get that sucking sound going on. You know, and you don't want that. You don't want bass to come in, then boom, now your lyrics low. You need to readjust that knob within the software. Not anything on your board. And then just still too, on your board, you don't want to be in the red for anything on your board. If you have to be in the red somewhere with stuff on your board, something ain't right somewhere with your outputs of your speakers. And that'll also cause a form of compression. Even though it ain't no compression on speakers, it's just you sending so much amps through one channel that can only handle but so much. So you clipping, actually. You're clipping is an actual gold piece of wire that you're sending too much electrical current to, and it can't handle it basically. You know? So you have to keep all that in mind. It can get pretty deep, you know, but you should just check out some of these topics yourself. But these main 4 topics: signal flow, inputs, outputs, equalization, compression, or I feel, me personally, I feel like it's the basis of understanding DJ gear and technology and everything. So, you know, look into that some more to better your skills. But until then, until the next one, I am BDP Sounds with the Z at the end. I'm one DJ coming from that east side. I'm out.